Awesome. So, Tyler, thank you so much for joining us today on the My First Thousand podcast, the podcast where we chat to YouTubers. It's a pleasure to talk to you, honestly, because one of my favorite things about you is you actually spent over a year making videos every week before you reached 1,000 subscribers, right? Mm-hmm. That's just amazing, kind of the endurance there. And of course, now, how many subscribers are you on?
I think I'm at like 184,000, something like that. So pretty decent size at this point.
Just adding the 1,000 on the end there. Yeah, quite right.
Something like that.
So it's something a testament to the endurance, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Where did you find that stat? Did you go back into my analytics and find that, or did you do some research on me?
Both, honestly. So that I actually found in your Instagram story where you posted when you were kind of reflecting on 100,000 subscribers, and one of the things you said was how you were making a video. I've got the phrase written down what you actually said. If you'll forgive me for just glancing over here.
For sure.
So the three things you said were you were uploading weekly, you were putting the hours in to ensure there was quality, and you made sure that every video you tried to do as well as you could.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a background of how it started up and kind of how I got into doing YouTube videos. So I started off, I was a freshman in college, and I wanted to do film and I wanted to direct. It was all kind of like nebulous, right? And in my freshman year of college, I pretty much had this existential crisis, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? What do I really want to do? Where do I really want to go? What's this all for? One of those. And I was like, well, I really love storytelling. I really want to be a screenwriter. I want to be a director. And so I should start actually taking real steps towards those things. And so I started writing, and I started making short films. And another thing that I did was I started a YouTube channel. So I had watched Every Frame of Painting, which is a fantastic video essay channel. And he was, he was like the real pioneer of like film video essay channels. And I remember finding his channel and just watching all of his videos again and again. And I loved it. And so I started this YouTube channel, and my initial goal of it was that I was going to make something once a week that was going to help me in my education as somebody who wanted to screenwrite, as somebody who wanted to direct, and as somebody who loved filmmaking. So the idea initially was that I was doing this, of course, to make YouTube videos and to have this channel, but mainly to study and then force myself to like synthesize what I was studying. So if you think about it, it's really, with video essays, they're kind of papers that are then made into videos, hence the name video essays. And so I was really just kind of writing these weekly papers on whatever I was learning about in regards to filmmaking or screenwriting or just whatever I was interested in at that particular week. And so I just started making these videos. And of course, I wanted to grow a YouTube channel. I mean, like while that wasn't the primary focus at the time, the primary focus was not to hit 1 million subscribers. But of course, it was in the back of my head. I mean, it's so funny hearing YouTubers be like, they hit 1 million subscribers, they hit 10 million, and they're like, I never thought of myself as here. It's like, what are you talking about? The first time, the day that I made my YouTube profile, I was like, man, it's gonna be crazy if I can hit 1 million subscribers. Like immediately, I thought that. I was like, I would love to do that. Yeah, of course. I mean, why not? So I started making these videos, right? And I was doing it mainly for me, but I loved Every Frame of Painting, and I think Nerdwriter also kind of started around that same time, and I was just interested in this format and making these videos. I was having a good time. And so then I was really using that to just kind of build skill set, and I was shooting these short films, and I was writing, and I remember I was just doing so much work because I remember reading a stat that M. Night Shyamalan had written like 3 or 4 features while he was in college, and I was like, okay, well, I need to write 3 or 4 features. Like I need to get these things out, and I was making these YouTube videos and everything, and so I just started up. And I remember, actually, I still have a screenshot of when I hit 50 subscribers, because I didn't really send it out to like people I knew. I know that some people like send it out to their friends and they're like, hey, subscribe to me. And I was like kind of embarrassed at that. I was like, I guess I'm just going to make these videos kind of for me. And if the public finds them, then they do. And so I just started making them and really went from like pretty much 0. And I hit 50 and then I hit 100 subscribers and I was like, great. And I'm making these videos, getting like 14 views, 20 views, that sort of thing. And I'm just here plugging away. And, it was fine. And I started, I don't know how long it was into me making these videos, but I was a couple months in and I started being like, okay, like, what are different ways that I can start to push these a little bit? Maybe get some more views on them. And I found Reddit and I found r/screenwriting. And I started, this was kind of the time where it was kind of free game, because it was early video essay time. Now, if you post a video essay in there, you will get like banned or people will just rag on you, that sort of stuff now. They're not fans of it now, but back then you could post stuff and people were like, oh, that's cool. And so I remember this video I put up, and what was the name of it? Oh, it was this cinematography analysis of a scene that was from The Theory of Everything, the movie The Theory of Everything. And I put it on r/screenwriting and I got 3,000 views. And at this point, that was in regards to other videos that were like, I think my highest video at the time was like 130 views or something. So I remember getting 3,000 views and I was like, this is it. Like, we're running now. Like, this thing is going to run 1 million subscribers tomorrow. We're going all the way.
Let's go.
Let's go. And, but I remember putting that up and I was like, okay, like every video I put out now, it's going up to Reddit. And I also remember that was kind of encouraging, because that was the first time where I was kind of like, okay, like some people are watching these, like somebody is kind of watching these things. And so I kept working. And then I remember, man, how long was I in? Maybe 6 or 7 months, more than a year, or maybe more like 9 or 10 months. So not half a year. I was like nearer to a year. And I was on r/screenwriting and I saw this new video that somebody had posted in there. And it was called Gone Girl, Don't Underestimate the Screenwriter. And it was from this new YouTube channel called Lessons from the Screenplay. And I clicked on the video and I watched it and I was like, this is a great video. And I was like, what else has this guy done? So I clicked over to his channel and I noticed that this was a brand new channel and the video had something like 12,000 views and it had been posted that day. And I think his channel had like 1,200 subscribers or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy, day one has like a good hit video, like it's done well on Reddit. And he kind of went from 0 to 1,000 subscribers in like a matter of hours. And I was honestly, I was like, well, this is a great video. And I was like, great, I'm happy for him. This is a great video. I really liked his stuff. I subscribed that day. So I'm a day one Lessons from the Screenplay subscriber. Day one. And so I remember being like, oh, that's so cool. You know what? Good for him. And I went to bed. And then next day I wake up, and I believe it was next day. I don't know how long. I'm pretty sure it was. But next day I wake up and I go to this video, and his video has over 100,000 views, and his channel has something like 12,000 subscribers, and I almost turned my channel off because I was like, I'm trash at this. Like, clearly, I've been making videos once a week, every week, putting my heart and soul into these things for 9 months, 10 months. And I have 600 subscribers maybe. And this guy, day one, drops a video, 12,000 subscribers, doing the same method I was doing. Didn't do anything different. I ended up messaging him later asking, like, how did it blow up? And he was like, just posted it on Reddit. And I was just like, well, I guess I should just quit. But I didn't, as you can see.
Yeah, thank God you didn't. Wow.
Yeah, and I kind of just got up, and I was just like, well, I mean, I guess I'm just going to keep making these videos. Like I either stop because this guy is having success and be angry about it, or I keep making videos. And I chose to keep making videos. And, it wasn't too long after that I ended up hitting 1,000 subscribers. And I really think that once I hit 1,000, like it got a little more real, like where I was like, okay, like I think I can do this, because like, man, going from nothing to 1,000 subscribers it really is the hardest push. Like it was, because when you're at 10,000 subscribers, right? Like you're not a huge YouTuber, by any means, but you have an audience. You have 10,000 subscribers, you have an audience. And that is super motivating. You can say, well, if 10,000 people want to watch me, then maybe 100,000 do. But when you have 10 subscribers, there is no reason other than just you wanting to keep moving forward. And so, that it can be discouraging sometimes, but I think that it was, it was extremely valuable for me, because I think in a world, I don't think I would be this sounds corny, but I really don't think I would be the person I am now if I hadn't spent that year making videos every week under 1,000 subscribers. Like it really was formative. It showed me that like things take time, and you can work for a very long time and not see results of that work, and that thing still be successful. And I don't know how to, it's funny when people are trying to decide whether or not they're going to quit something, and they're looking at how much time they have put in. And I honestly can't give somebody advice one way or the other. Like you just have to decide, you have to decide, is this worth it to you or is it not? Do you want to do something else or not? And I decided that I was going to have a bad day, and then I was going to keep moving forward. So I feel like that's my main under 1,000 subscribers, like key story there.
Wow. God. How close were you to actually pressing the button? Like, not hiding the videos, I'm guessing. Were you going to hide them, or were you going to delete the channel? Kind of where were you?
I mean, I was just going to be done, I was just going to be like, well, forget about this. I'll just be done. And, like, would just completely do something else. Like, I don't think I still would have focused on writing, and I still would have made shorts, but like the concept of making these videos every week, like I would have just been done. And I literally remember, because I was in a dorm at the time, I was in college. So I remember just like laying in bed, like feeling sorry for myself, because I was like, this clearly I'm bad at this. Like that was what I was telling myself, right? Clearly I'm terrible at this.
Because it's strange. There's the story of the sunk cost fallacy, right? But the idea of growth on YouTube is that it is so bizarrely unfair in both the good ways and the bad ways. Because let's say you spent a year doing that and you were under 1,000 subscribers, and that was a whole year of labor to kind of get up there. At now 184,000 subscribers, you did not put 184 times the effort in over the following few years, right?
This is a really interesting thing that I think people need to think about when they are starting something from zero. It is that it's unfortunate, but when you actually realize it and you actually make peace with it, then it means that you can make progress. So when you start something, you are doing 100% work and seeing 0% results, right? When you have traction and you've had success and things are working, you are suddenly putting in way less effort comparatively and seeing way more results. And what happens is, like, you have to remember that the results you're seeing today are not a result of the work that you're doing today. The results you're seeing today are, like, my channel being at 100,000 plus subscribers is a direct result of that kid in college deciding not to give up on this channel. And so, I'm happy that I am able to continue to, grow my channel and bring people on it and talk about screenwriting and stuff that I love. But, the main foundational work of this channel was built from that kid with 170 subscribers. And it's important to remember that, because when I go into new things that are going to be frustrating on the front end, I can remember that I stuck with this thing and I knew I could do this. And even when emotionally it was frustrating, I knew I could do this. I knew I could make it work, and I stuck with it. And it just is what it is. I mean, if either you want to do it or you don't. That's really what I think. And sunk cost fallacy is hard, because it is true. Like there's a world where it's not worth it for me to continue my channel. I mean, I know people. I know somebody I went to college with who he made these vlog style videos once a day, every day for a year, got no real traction, got maybe to like 800 subscribers, and then stopped doing it. And, what did that work out? I don't know. But not every person who sticks with something gets, high levels of success. That is a reality. And so it is hard to make these claims on what someone else is doing. If you're a person that is working on a project, you're not seeing results, you have to decide. Nobody else is going to decide for you whether or not this is worth it to you to keep going and improving and finding your mistakes and solving those problems, or give up and do something else, So.
God, sir. I mean, as we said, it is unfair in bizarre ways, you know what I mean?
I mean, it is. So have you seen the Behind the Curtain YouTube channel?
Yes.
Okay, so I know him personally. He's a close friend of mine. The guy who made that channel. Yeah. And I was there when he was building the channel, and when he had the idea for it and everything, and launched that first video, and he did like 30,000 views in the first week or something like that. And it was like great. And he started running with that channel, and that channel went from 0 to 100,000 subscribers over the course of like 4 or 5 months. Very quick, like blew through it. And, I think there's just so much, there is work and there's luck and there's all these other things. And I think that, but I do believe that you do have control over your growth in a lot of ways. And I think I think what people don't want to hear is that if you were like me and you've made, videos for a year and you're not seeing like, crazy results or anything, like where I was at a few hundred subscribers and I'd been making videos for all this time. The reason for that was because I wasn't good at making videos. So it wasn't because I was making these perfect gems that nobody was seeing. It was that I wasn't good at it. And then over time I've gotten better. And so I learned what I was doing wrong, and I fixed mistakes, and I analyzed what was working and what wasn't working in my videos. And so I think that you really have to combine your work ethic with your ability to fix your own problems and to look at the mistakes that you're making and to fix them. Because if you don't do that, then you're not going to grow. Like my channel was at 15 to 17,000 subscribers, right? And at that point, I made a shift in the videos I was making. So up to that point, I got myself to about 17,000 subscribers, and I was making general video essays about whatever I wanted to talk about. At that point, I shifted, and that was the point where I knew what my channel was actually about, why my channel was different than other channels on YouTube, and what my channel was going to be. And that was that my channel was going to be like the channel that focused on practical teaching screenwriting, and not just making video essays about things I wanted to see like a lot of other channels, but making, as a writer and somebody who is pursuing screenwriting, what practically helped me and how did I give that to other people in a clear, concise way. And when I made that shift, I went from 17-ish thousand subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in about 6 months.
Wow.
And that was all me adjusting, figuring out the purpose of my channel, the identity of my channel, and operating according to that. And so that had nothing to do with how much work I was doing. I could have made 4 videos a week with what I was previously doing and not seen the same success that I had when I made this switch. So it isn't just about work ethic. You have to understand positioning, and you have to understand your purpose as a channel. What sets you different? What is the quality of videos? And really for me, it was, what problem am I solving for people, right? I was solving the problem of they wanted practical screenwriting help, and a lot of these books and film classes and consultations and blah, blah, blah were not helping. And as somebody who was seeing these problems and finding ways to fix them, I wanted to give a practical sense to writers in film school who were stuck a way forward. And that is what made all the difference.
Well, what you're talking about here is very much marketing, right? It was more about specifically marketing your channel in a certain way. How did you make that obvious, say, the logline of your channel? How did you present that to people who were perhaps stumbling across it, saw you in a thumbnail? What convinced them to stick around and stay? What did you do in your videos or in the way you presented your channel that demonstrated this?
For sure. So what I was doing previously was talking about the use of film score in Interstellar, something like that, right? A topic I wanted to look at. I shifted from that to how to practically structure a screenplay, how to write characters that work, how to write a short film, right? How-to videos giving clear, concise examples and guidelines on how to do something specific. That is what made the difference. So people were not clicking my videos to watch some kid, blabber on about his opinion on something, on some movie that had come out. It was, okay, I have a problem. I need to figure out how to structure a script because I've been struggling to do it. This guy says that this video is going to help me do it. I'll give it a click and watch it for 15 minutes. And ideally, most of those people went, oh, wow, this is really helpful. I'll go to this channel and look at his other videos and get more help. And that's how I approached it. And that was very intentional. That was a specific shift that was made, not some sort of, oh, this is working, I guess I'll adjust to that. Because sometimes that can work and that can happen. There's a lot of YouTubers that are making videos, they're trying to be a YouTuber, and one of their videos takes off and they analyze why that one worked and then they lean into that. And I don't see anything wrong with doing that because it's about what is your goal, what are you trying to do, how are you trying to get there, and that can work. So you have to understand what people are on your channel for and what you were trying to do. And, it was, that just made all the difference.
Well, what's interesting about you is you're one of the people that I've spoken to who your content is less identity based on you as an individual, as Tyler. They come across as very particularly educational, where you're very much more a teacher role. They're a bit more formal. And that focus on education, I think, is what's so interesting about both you and YouTube as a whole at the moment, because people are able to get a perhaps damn near close to college or better, considering the infrastructure of YouTube, the pause, click, go to whatever. There's something real special going on here, and you're doing it all for free.
Yeah, I think that, my channel, the shift really came from a few ways. Well, I went to film school for a semester. Remember, I told you that I had come to college for film school, and the way that it was set up was you did 2 years of general education studies, and then you did only film classes the second 2 years. And the purpose for that was so that you could be on set for 12 hours in a day and not be missing classes and that sort of thing, which, theoretically was a great plan and should have worked. But when I got into film school, I was really frustrated because a lot of these people were not writers. They were cinematographers, or they had set experience, or they were looking at just non-script focused elements of filmmaking. And it's easy for that to happen because filmmaking is such a combination of all of these different arts. You have acting, and you have directing, and you have cinematography, and you have sound, and you have all these other art forms in this major art form. And then it's easy to, miss the most important and also most difficult one to do correctly, which is the storytelling part. And so I was frustrated that I wasn't getting any of this help. And I was also frustrated that I felt like I was learning faster on my own, writing scripts and just figuring out what wasn't working and fixing it. And so I used that as ammo because I realized that this was a problem that all sorts of people in all these different film schools were having, that their professors were either just not focused on screenwriting, or they were cinematography guys, or they were just not good at teaching screenwriting, even if they had done it. And because that happens too. There's a lot of people that are great writers that are not good teachers. And so I was like, okay, I am going to synthesize what I figured out, what I think is the most practical, and put that into these videos. And so that's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah. And even, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, there's education and entertainment, right? Like YouTube, you can go the entertainment route. And I think that that's a great route to go because a lot of YouTubers do fantastically in that route. And then you can also go, I think the entertainment route is good because you can get a larger viewing, and that can come with more sponsorship deals and, more monetization opportunities and all of these sorts of things. And I think those could be great for you as a YouTuber. What's great about a education-based YouTube channel is that your audience is more loyal to you because you are helping them, right? Like, they aren't there for you, they're there for them. They're there to be helped. And if you can lean into that and help them, then you can keep an audience. And even if your channel isn't exploding in growth, right? My channel, I have a decent sized audience, but there are all sorts of YouTubers way, way larger than me. But I've been able to keep my core audience because they are here because I'm helping them. And that's what's made a difference for me.
Probably a lot in terms of retention, I'd guess, as well. You probably have far higher retention than, say, a typical YouTuber of around your size that's in the entertainment sector, because people who are wanting to learn something are going to stick around to learn the lessons you're providing.
Right. And I think that when you are an entertainment YouTuber, it's easy for your audience to go through these waves of attention, right? Where they watch you religiously for a month, and then they don't really watch you ever again because they watched pretty much all your entertaining videos on this particular video game or vlog style or whatever, and then they move on. But it's easier if you're solving someone's problem, if they encounter a problem again, or they encounter a specific problem that wasn't, handled in a different one of your videos, then they can come back and they can review and look at these videos again. And so it's funny, I have people that will send me like Instagram DMs of their notes that they've been taking while watching my videos. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's what I want to be happening.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I was lucky to spend 3 years in film school here in the UK, and the biggest consistent downfall I saw with student short films was the screenwriting. Before anything else, before cinematography, before sound, acting, talent, anything else, it was always the scripts.
Yeah. And you know what I think is funny is that, so there's a video that I have on my channel. Actually, there's 2 videos, but the later one I did is the better one. It's called How to Write a Short Film. And I take a Rick and Morty episode, and I essentially break down like why it works and why really it works like a 13-page short script, and how you could essentially apply that to your own short films. And it's funny because this is going to sound so cocky and so awful, but if everyone who wanted to write a short script would just watch that video and do exactly what I said, they would have fantastic short scripts, way better than most of the stuff that goes to festivals. You know,
damn.
The problems are not that difficult to solve. The problem is that everybody thinks they're so unique, and everybody thinks that they're going to write something so unique and interesting, but what they do is they write like everyone else because everybody makes the same mistakes again and again and again. And genius, like think about Albert Einstein, right? He's a genius that we all accept that this guy is a genius, okay? Why? It's not that he made things more complex, it's that he made extremely complex concepts very simple, right? He took something as complex as gravity and time warping and made it simple enough to where regular people could get a sense of what he was talking about, right? I don't know if it's him or if it's somebody else that said, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, then you don't understand it, right? Why? What do we mean? What he means is that things that work are simple. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. And what we do in all of the areas of our life is we overcomplicate everything because we think that we have to, or we think that that is the way to do it, or we think that that's what makes us unique. And it happens in screenwriting again and again and again. I have worked with a lot of writers one-on-one, helping them fix their screenplays. I've read a lot of professional screenplays. I was a script reader for a while at a production company here in LA, and all of the problems are the same again and again and again. And there are problems of complexity, and there are problems that people don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand why they're doing something, and they want to be more complex when what they actually need to do is they need to simplify their story and focus it down, and that's what's going to make it work. Like, think about this, right? If you want to go put on 20 pounds of muscle at the gym, right? If you want to get super ripped, right? Okay, what do you need to do? Well, you need to eat a caloric surplus, and then you need to get a gym routine that is going to hit all of your muscle groups in a certain way consistently for, multiple years, and then you'll be there. So
You're telling me I don't need to buy multiple books, watch multiple YouTube videos, download 4 different apps, and subscribe to 8 different gym services? What?
Exactly. And this is what people do. They say, oh, well, this guy's method doesn't work. This guy's method doesn't work. Oh, this girl's method doesn't work. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, what about this diet plan? Oh, what about keto? Oh, what about intermittent fasting? Oh, what about this? It's like, eat at a caloric surplus and go to the gym. It's just like, it's so simple, right? And the same concept applies. Eat at a caloric surplus, go to the gym, write your script on, philosophical principles that I talk about on my channel, and, write in a structure of momentum that actually, brings your characters through these stages of conflict. It's like, it really isn't, things that work are simple. Simplicity scales. You can do simple again and again. You cannot replicate complex. You don't know why something that is complex works. I think what we see a lot of times is that even professional writers, they write something that works and they don't know why. And that's not where you want to be.
That's hilarious. Oh, man. Yeah, no, that was something that I've experienced firsthand, where I had assignments for scripts. And this might be a wider comment, I guess, about the education system as a whole at the moment. But I did scripts where the feedback was like, consider changing this or consider changing this. Whereas the best script teacher I actually had at university, lovely bloke, who luckily I had my dissertation as well, which was a script, he was one of the guys who actually told me, that's crap, change it. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's so much simpler. Tell me it's bad. Tell me it's awful so I can do something completely different. And it's only after scrapping and mucking through the bad ideas that I was lucky to get some proper things. And under that guy's supervision, I got an amazing grade on my final dissertation, purely because this guy was just so unapologetically, this is bad, do something better.
For sure.
And there was a lot of, this is quite good, this is interesting, where actually, a bit more confidence and oomph behind this is crap. So I like that. I actually watched a Q&A you did, where you actually gave feedback on people's scripts, where you were absolutely unafraid to say, this is bad, you made a classic mistake, change this. Which is just, it saves so much time, And if people are willing to learn, you want those teachers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is one of my core beliefs on creativity that a lot of people disagree with me on. And that is that when you're being creative, the creative part of you is the initial idea that you have. Then after that is skill set and problem solving. So let me give you an example. Michelangelo creates the David statue, right? This magnum opus sculpture that lives on in history for hundreds and hundreds of years. The idea, the piece of creativity, was him in his mind going, I want to create this beautiful sculpture, create the statue of David. After that, it was his skill set of understanding geometry, understanding how to use sculpting tools, understanding perspective, understanding all of these skill set elements that are just bringing that initial piece of creativity to life. So when things aren't working, you just problem solve into the skill set. So if he had a problem on sizing and perspective, he can use geometry and perspective and these things to problem solve why his sculpture wasn't coming out the way he wanted it to come out. All of that is problem solving and skill set, but his creativity was his initial idea. And I think that what people do, especially in screenwriting, is they make this core mistake where they believe that every piece of their story is just this outpouring of creativity. And it's really not. You have to think about it like you have an initial idea, you have something to say, you have a concept you want to bring, and then you bring that concept through your skill set and your ability to problem solve to then get to the end result that you want, which is a script and a story that works.
Yeah, it's not just I've got a good idea and it's the best idea ever. Like, no, you got to have the shticks to back it up.
Absolutely. And every idea can be good. People ask me all the time, I get DMs and stuff where people will be like, oh, is this a good idea? It's like, well, there are some of the best shows and movies of all time were like, if somebody just pitched them to you, you'd be like, oh, I guess that sounds fine. But it's execution. It's their ability to bring these philosophical concepts. It's their ability to bring characters into action. It's their ability to, create story momentum. Those are all skill sets that create the story. So, and people talk about, I can't find ideas. It's like you're getting stuck on the wrong thing. What you need to be focusing on is doing the work and then problem solving. And the same thing applies to YouTube. That's why my channel grew. I did all this work and I wasn't figuring out why it wasn't working. And the second I realized what the identity of my channel was, and the second I realized what my purpose was on YouTube, suddenly things really started to take off and I wasn't having to grind as hard as I used to be.
It's that Casey Neistat quote, which is ideas are easy, ideas are cheap, whereas execution is everything.
Absolutely.
That's very much what you're doing there in your channel.
For sure.
Also, as well, in that change of reflection that you said, it was demonstrating the value proposition of your channel, which we briefly touched on marketing earlier as well. You actually have a bit of kind of marketing experience, right? Which I don't know how much you've spoken about it. I was just curious as to where you learned kind of your marketing, where you learned marketing essentially, and how you applied that directly to your channel.
Sure. So, I guess you found my website and that sort of stuff for my channel. I don't know.
It's a good website. It's a very nice website.
Thank you. To the listeners who don't know, I have a website attached to my YouTube channel called Practical Screenwriting. Essentially what I do on that site is I help people who have never finished a screenplay before finish that first draft, because that is a huge problem. I watch all sorts of, it sounds so simple, right? But it is a huge problem. People are going through an entirety of film school with a short script and never being forced to tackle that feature. And they say they want to be screenwriters. It doesn't make any sense. So I do that. And I also help people. I also help people systematically rewrite their story. So what I'm talking about here, finding the problems in your story and fixing them. So that is what I do on my website. I have a course, so I also do some coaching, some one-on-one stuff, that sort of stuff. And essentially, how I learned all of this was by seeking out information online. I didn't learn any of this in college. I was learning it in college, but it was in spite of college, not because of college. There's different people that I followed online that have talked about just online marketing and online business and how marketing works. And I think right now we are in a great time to learn online and to learn things online, which is, as I'm a person that's teaching online, of course, I'm gonna say that. But I genuinely believe that. I mean, I have spent multiple thousands of dollars on my own online education on topics that I have been interested in, like building a skill for. And, I think that what's also great is I think the college system is starting to break down a little bit, because I think it got so institutionalized that it's gotten so bloated. And I think that because it's become so ingrained in our culture that they were no longer incentivized to teach well. And I think that one thing that is cool about learning online is that you have a little bit more of that incentive back, in my view, that you can learn from people that are actually there to help you and have a larger stake in watching you succeed, and are not some sort of massive institution that doesn't matter if you do or don't pay them and that sort of stuff. So I think, I would say most of what I've learned has come from the internet in some capacity. I really didn't learn too much in college in the sense of what I was learning in class. I'm very focused on, and I very much believe in taking personal responsibility for your own learning. And that when you join, because, I sell a course and I have coaching and this sort of thing. And if you're a person that comes into my programs, I absolutely think that you have to come in knowing that you are taking responsibility for your own writing, right? I think what's not good about universities and colleges is that the fact that you get that piece of paper, I think, is detrimental, because it means that you took some classes and then you went off and you have this piece of paper that says you took some classes, but it doesn't say that you learned a skill set. It doesn't say that you actually improved on what they were teaching you. It doesn't say that you actually found tangible results from the time you spent in college. What it says is you had fun for 4 years and then now you're moving on into the job world. And so I think that taking personal responsibility for your learning is step one. And then realizing that there are legitimately people on the internet that will help you with whatever you are trying to learn, as long as you are willing to take the responsibility to get better, and to remove your ego out of the way of your own learning. There are people that will help you. If I wanted to learn coding right now, there's somebody online that is willing to teach me. If I wanted to learn, complex math right now, there is somebody on the internet that is willing to teach me. And so, you can even look at examples of that, like Elon Musk, who learned, this whole world of technical engineering because he just read books, he talked to engineers, he learned online, he just self-learned, and he had skin in the game. He was like, well, I got to build these rockets, so I got to figure out how they work, right? That's the best way to learn, because if you're going to actually learn something, you need to be working on that thing to show that this is something that you care about and this is something that you have real stakes attached to it. And so that's why I'm so excited. There are, over 100 people, I think it's 130 or 140 people in my course right now have finished their first screenplay ever as a direct result of being inside this course. And I think that is fantastic. It really, it really makes me feel like what I'm doing is meaningful and purposeful, because it's not just that these people are, it's not just that they are learning something and then moving on. It's they are seeing tangible results from what I have shown them. And so that's what I think learning should be based on. And I think that it's frustrating when it is not.
Man, there's so much good in that. Particularly, oh God. Okay, well, first, the plus 100 people you have in your course, having that direct relationship with them, And as you say, you have skin in the game, and developing these personal relationships with them and seeing them succeed as a result of what you've built from this channel must feel fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like, you know, I mean, even on my website, I have like, you know, course reviews up there, you know, so that people can watch and really to see that like people like them or in this and have found success. But really, you know, I will go back and I will watch these videos because like, you know, it's meaningful to me to watch these people talk about how beneficial it was to be helped by me. Like that really means something to me. And, you know, like some of the stuff that these people say is really intense. And it's people saying things like, there's a guy, Dennis, that I've talked to inside the course. And he said that like, he talks about these couple particular lessons inside the course and that they changed his view on screenwriting forever and like how wildly different like his whole outlook was because of that. Like crazy stuff like that. And like, it's so good to see that, you know, because like I really believe in what I'm doing and I really believe that it's beneficial in making an impact. And so to be able to see that is huge.
Absolutely. And what you were saying about college as well, in terms of what it actually proves, having done a, you know, pretty good film school in the UK, there were some people who turned up there who, you know, they were not there to learn. They were just, you know, not going to classes. And I mean like probably 80-90% of the classes do not attend. You know, really did not care. And I was always angry that these people didn't get kicked out until I realised it's far more hassle for the university to actually kick them out than it is to just kind of shove the paper at them at the end and get them out for to bring the next cohort of students in. So it was really kind of disillusioning in a lot of ways. Whereas, of course, the complete flip side of the spectrum here is the kind of thing that you're doing and the realization that learning these really specific niche skills in what people are interested in, that there are these teachers around online. So we talk about, say, Elon Musk or Bill Gates both going out of their ways to learn immensely complex things early, from books, from contacts, finding the relevant people to talk to. It is now easier than it has ever been in the history of mankind to learn anything you can feasibly imagine. The biggest value that university or college presents in a lot of ways is these teachers, these mentors who will give you direct feedback as well as everything else that is promised in this tuition. And suddenly what you're offering here is the direct, relevant and individual feedback to the work that people are doing. Everything else is available online for free. So people can get this mind-blowing depth of teaching for it's just such a different way of doing it, and the results are probably better in a lot of ways. And that's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, there are just a little fun fact, there are more people in my course that have finished screenplays than did in my film school class. So
wow.
It's a fun little fact.
Wow. How does that feel?
I mean, you know, I think that it feels good, and it feels good, and it's also frustrating because I wish it worked, you know, like I wish that I wish people were correctly incentivized to teach well and to learn well. And it's funny when people ask me, sometimes I'll get emails from people that are inside my course, and they'll ask me like, hey, do you have like once I go through it and I do this stuff, do you have like some sort of certificate that I went through it? And it's like, no, and I won't build it for you because that's not why you're here. Like either you're getting better or you're not. And if you're trying to show somebody else that you have a certificate that you sat through something, like that doesn't mean anything. What means something is whether or not you have the skill. Do you have the skill or not? Can you prove you have the skill or not? That's what we need to be focused on. And so that's why I've stuck to some of those things, because I'm like, the focus is whether or not you can do what I'm here to teach you to do. And, you know, that's how I run it.
Perhaps I might consider that the kind of external value proposition there is boomers, say, in hiring positions might believe foolishly the value of something is higher if a potential candidate can say, look at this certificate of this course I went out of my way to go and do. It's not necessarily for the people in your course. Perhaps. Yes. I don't know. And the shame is there, of course. these boomers.
Right. And you're totally right. And that's why I think, that's definitely what the view is, but I don't want to feed that view, So I think it's better to like at some point, it really just depends on like, do we or do we not want to operate off of that metric? And I don't think we should. And because of that, I won't feed into it. So if that stops somebody from working with me, then that's fine. That just kind of shows that in this situation, we may not be aligned, to work together, and that's totally okay. I don't have to work with everybody. So, but yeah, and also it's just looping this back into the YouTube channel. What I was building, like this website and everything, was happening right as I found the identity of what my channel was going to be. So they kind of formed together in tandem. And because I knew that like this was the identity of what I was trying to do right now, and this is how it was going to work in YouTube, and this is how it was going to work outside of it. And I took that leap, and it paid off.
What I really like as well is that a lot of people I talk to, I ask them the unexpected benefits of making their channel. And almost all of them have said career-wise. We had a bloke who, one of my best friends actually, he has videos about scale models, literally just making these tiny FX models. He ended up getting a job in cinematography because of his YouTube channel, which clearly demonstrated his cinematography skills via these videos. That's
fantastic.
Right? Everyone I've spoken to has said that there's been a career benefit, whereas you almost went in with the direct intention of teaching in a lot of ways. Obviously you later specified in this, but like to directly reflect and teach yourself more, particularly in that first year where you were building up to 1,000, there was an aim of self-improvement from the get-go.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what happened when I was a freshman in college was that I knew that if I wanted to do something important, it required me figuring out a vision and then working towards that. And at that point, I didn't really know exactly what that looked like. And I read a book actually, that the longer I have been working on my YouTube channel, the more like this quote has resonated with me. It's, the book is Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It's a fun little little book, and yeah, super cool. And one of the things he said was like, you don't have to know something like you don't have to know what your identity is to start, right? You don't have to know what you're doing to start, but you need to get moving. And I think he's totally right. I think that we learn in motion, right? What I don't like about, focusing on theory mainly and only teaching that and only focusing on that is that we learn when we're making mistakes. We learn when things aren't working. We learn when we find something new, we try to make it work and it doesn't work, and then we have to figure out why it's not working. That's how we learn. And, to go back to this whole like fitness analogy, it's like you can watch 20 videos on YouTube about how somebody is like doing a bench press, but you're not going to actually figure out the form and feel it out until you're under the bar doing a bench press. And we learn in motion. We learn by experiencing it. We learn by feeling it out. We learn by figuring out what's not working for us and targeting on that and fixing that.
Go make some videos, people. It's got to be done.
Absolutely.
I'm aware we're pressed for time, so I'll ask you just one final question, though there's so many more I'd love to ask, which is, what would your final advice be to your audience, people who look up to you, who are perhaps toying with the idea of starting a YouTube channel?
I would say that the focus initially is really on a couple things. So one, you need to be like, consistency is king. If you can't get your videos up consistently, you're not going to be able to grow. It doesn't matter if you're uploading every day or or 3 times a week or once a week. You have to figure out how consistently you're going to upload, and you're going to have to stick to that, and you're going to have to commit to doing that thing for a while. If you're not willing to commit to that thing for a while, then I wouldn't start. Number 2, once you have that consistency element down, You need to focus on, okay, what is the identity of this channel and what isn't working for me right now? So, and it's hard to nail down what that might be. So if you are an entertainment channel and you're not, people aren't watching you, you need to think, okay, well, is there a way I can improve my thumbnails? Is there a way I can improve my titles? Is there a way I can improve the video content that I'm creating? Why are entertainment channels in my same category on YouTube doing well? What is the difference between their videos and mine? Because I guarantee you it's more than the fact that they just have 1 million subscribers and you don't. They're doing something better than you are. And it's important for you to study why and implement it into your videos. So your ability to stay consistent and problem solve in a particular direction is going to matter the most.
Awesome. Tyler Mowery, it has been an absolute privilege to talk to you. Links to your website as well as your channel are, as always, going to be in the channel description to check him out. He also has an ebook on screenwriting, which he didn't mention, which is also very important. Check that out. And I think lastly, it's important to mention that you've achieved all this success before the age of what? You've just turned 24?
I just turned 24, yeah.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you so much.
Incredible. It's been an absolute inspiration chatting to you. Really, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.